Rational means that you can make a fraction out of it. And you know, all you have to do to make a fraction is put a 1 under it. So 483 over 1, boom, is a fraction. That makes it rational. Okay? Now, the thing is, if something is rational, it can't be irrational. You can't have it both ways. Okay? So if you decide that something is rational, that's it. Okay? All right, so the answer to 483, if I was like in here doing the work, I would say it's a Q, Z, W, N. 483 is a rational number, it's an integer, it's a whole number, and it's natural. 483. Okay? So now let's let you try. Look at the next one. Number is 57 over 3. What classifications do you think it is? Everybody respond in the chat, please. All the classifications you think for 57 over 3. Is it rational? Is it irrational? Is it an integer? Is it natural? Is it whole? What do you say? 57 over 3. Let me know in the chat. Okay, I see how you have a question mark on it, Selena. When I think about rational and irrational, I automatically think fraction. Is 57 over 3 a fraction? Yes, right. So since it's a fraction, that makes it rational. Fractions mean rational. Irrational means can't be a fraction. Got it? Fraction equals rational, not a fraction, or can't be, like doesn't have the possibility to be a fraction, means irrational. Irrational can, let me make sure, I want to make sure I make that plain. Irrational means you can't make a fraction of it. It's impossible to turn it into a fraction. That's what irrational means. All right, so let's try it again. What should 57 over 3 be classified as, guys? What should 57 over 3 be classified as? Very good. It should be classified as rational. Good job, Janasia. Now, is 57 over 3 a natural number? Is it a natural number? Joshua says no. Okay. Now, this is what I want you all to do. Fractions are division. That's all a fraction is, just division. So I need you guys to do 57 divided by 3 and tell me what that is. What's 57 divided by 3? Oh, 19. Okay. So that means 57 over 3 is equivalent to 19. They're the same thing. 57 over 3 and 19 are the exact same thing. So think about it as a 19. Is 19 natural? Is 19 a natural number that you could count to 19? Is it? Yes, right. So that means 57 over 3 is natural. Because it's equivalent, all right? 57 over 3 is natural. Is it whole? Is it whole? Is 19 whole? Is 19 an integer? Oh, what is an integer? Can somebody explain what an integer is? Okay, I like what you're thinking, Gage. An integer is a whole number that can be negative. Actually, integers are all positive and negative whole numbers. It takes up all of those, right? Positive and negative whole numbers make up the integers. So it is an integer. It is. Okay. All right, not a problem. Like, this was a learning activity, so it's okay. If you didn't respond correctly, the whole point is so we can learn it. That's the whole purpose. 0. Talk to me about zero. Put in the chat all the letters that you think zero is. Like, is it rational, irrational, natural, whole? And I like you and Selena and Joshua, but notice sometimes there are more than one thing. So I want you to put all the ones that you think apply, right? Put everything that you think applies. And if you guys want to, you can shortcut it. You don't have to write all of it out. You can do Z, Q, N, you know, whatever. All right, so I got natural, I got whole. I got some people saying integer, whole and natural. Okay. Whole, natural, integer. Rational, okay. All right, I'm going to post the answer. It is rational, which I'm going to say a Q for. It is an integer, so I'm going to say Z. And it is whole. It is rational, it is an integer, and it is whole. That's it. It's not natural, okay? Natural is counting numbers, so it's whole numbers except for zero. I'm sorry. It's just whole numbers except for zero. It's not irrational. Zero, you can turn it into a fraction. All you gotta do is put a 1 under it, and it makes it a fraction. So it is rational, okay? So it's rational, integer, whole. Any questions on that about zero? Everybody understand why it's not natural? Okay, just know natural means you can count it, you can hold it in your hand. I can't hold zero objects. That's not natural. Okay, moving on. Y'all look at square root of 18. Square root of 18. Put your answers in the chat. What do you think about that one? Square root of 18. What type of number is it? Madison says irrational. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, 2 people say irrational. Okay, Joshua says whole. Tiara, irrational. All right. So one way to get this right is to actually try to figure out what square root of 18 is. If you have a calculator, or your phone or something, let's do the square root of 18 and see if that turns into a nice thing or not, right? So like on the iPhone, I'm going to type 18 and then turn my phone sideways, and then do the square root button. So I went with 4.242640687119285. That's a lot of numbers, and I believe that it probably would go longer than that, but I don't have the space on my phone, right? So what's happening here is we get a decimal number that goes on and on and on and on forever and never stops. That means this is irrational. If you said irrational, you're right. This is irrational. We cannot turn this into a fraction. So everybody that commented irrational, you're absolutely right. Good job. One more, and then I am going to let you guys go. Let's look at negative square root of 25. Negative square root of 25. Before you tell me your answers, see if you can simplify that. Does negative square root of 25, is that equivalent to something nicer? If so, then classify it based on that number. Negative square root of 25. Tell me all the classifications it could be. Okay, I hear some integer, I see irrational. Need all the classifications, all of them. So remember, it can be more than one sometimes. And I just want to say I appreciate all of you guys who are typing in the chat, taking risk. You know, it doesn't matter right now if you're right or wrong, we're learning. So I appreciate everybody that is participating. Okay, I'm seeing several answers come in. But everybody that's submitting is saying one thing, right? Like It's just the one thing that you submitted. All right, so let's talk. Negative square root of 25, is that equivalent to something? What does negative square root of 25 equal? What does negative square root of 25 mean? Selena, you're very close. Can you fix your mistake? Okay, Madison, you got it. Good. It's negative 5. Okay. Negative 5 looks better and we can understand it better. It's negative 5. Negative 5 is what it's equivalent to. Since it makes better sense for me, at least, I'd rather look at negative 5 than negative square root 25. Now I'm going to go through this process just by looking at 5, right? So my first thing is it natural? Right, let's start at the bottom. Let's start with the lowest level classification. Is it natural? Can you count and hold negative 5 objects in your hand? No. If you can't hold it in your hand, it's not natural. Okay? Remember, natural is your most basic type of number. It is the number that makes sense to us as humans because we can hold it and count it. Everything else, all other types of numbers, are numbers that mathematicians have as an idea to help us figure things out mathematically. I wonder how that will look. I wonder how it would look if we could too. But negative numbers were created so that we could explain what it means to be in the whole. That's all it means. Negative numbers were created so that we could explain the fact, oh, somebody let you borrow $10 because you didn't have it. You're in the negative 10, right? That's what it was created for, so that we can explain when somebody gives you something and when somebody takes something away beyond 0, when you don't even have it to give, but they still took it. That's what negative is for. Okay, so negative 5 is not natural. That's not natural. Is negative 5 a whole number? Is it a whole number? So I can understand why somebody would think yes, because you would say, well, it doesn't have decimals, it doesn't have fractions. And I understand that, but since it's negative, that means it's not whole. Okay? You have to be positive to be whole, right? I can't even count you, right? So there's no way you can be a whole number. So negative 5 is not natural. Negative 5 is not whole. Now, is negative 5 an integer? Yes, very good. It is, right? Anytime you take a number that is quote unquote whole because it's not a fraction and not a decimal, not whole by definition. If you take a number that doesn't have decimals, doesn't have fractions, and is positive or negative, that makes it an integer. So negative 5 is an integer. Very good. Very good. Next question. Is negative 5 rational? Meaning, can you turn it into a fraction if you wanted to? Could you rewrite negative 5 as a fraction if you wanted to? Yes. Yeah, I see how you guys switched. Okay, Madison, yes. All right. I'm going to just tell you, listen, guys, when you go through the videos and you're doing the practice sets, it's going to stick in more. But some things just go together, right? If it's an integer, it's guaranteed to be rational. If it's an integer, it's guaranteed to be rational. They go together, right? Go together. Every integer is rational. You can turn any whole number into a fraction. All you have to do is put a 1 on the bottom. All right? Just like, catch this, any whole number is an integer. But you got to notice my direction. Every whole number is an integer. Every integer is rational. That's the order. But listen to me carefully. Not every rational number is an integer. It doesn't work in reverse. It only works the forward direction. Right? So if it's natural, is whole. It's an integer. It's rational. Okay? So if you come across something that's natural, let's say 2, the number 2. Number 2 is natural. It's automatically going to be natural, whole, integer, rational. Automatic. Automatic. But if I say 1/2, right? 1/2 is rational. It's a fraction. Of course it's rational. But it's not an integer. It's whole. It's not natural. Okay? All right. I hope that's good and clear. If you have questions, drop it in the chat. You all know what the assignments are for. They are being shared. Drop any questions you have in the chat, please. If you don't have questions, you are dismissed.